This is a real shitty fucking flashlight. Vieux Baptiste.
Oh no. Hey, Q for lube.
Was there, I didn't see one when I looked at the... Maybe there was. Oh. Do I not
I think
have it
maybe it's...
anymore?
You do. It's under notes, I think. Like photos.
No.
Did
I eat
know
the
you can
dog
look at
tag?
them.
Maybe
If
I-
it has notes, you can look at them again. I just can't remember how to do it.
Yeah.
So what have we got anyway? Besides, like, so we've got the handgun, the flashlight.
We have a jerry can, a gun with one bullet, a flashlight, and an empty bottle.
Is that one bullet, or is that it's bound to one?
No, it's one
It's
bullet.
bound to one, but it also has one bullet in it because we had two, and I used one to shoot the lock, so...
Okay, and we have elected not to kill that guy.
He got eaten. Did you miss that bit where he got dragged through the wall?
I was probably
we
worrying too
found
much
the
about
chocolate.
offending, I was probably worrying too much about offending our French viewership, yeah, probably.
I do like... not to get all, like, Simpsons comic book guy nerd on this, but, like... I do like the idea of an underground bunker. Definitionally something where, like, anything that isn't carved out space is just dirt, and there is something in the walls of a bunker, which is... This is not a Victorian house. You know what I mean? Like how do you get in the walls of an underground bunker?
A tunnel, or it's not a real space, I guess.
They have a mole.
I think probably,
No.
like, how do you get into the walls of an underground bunker is kind of the cosmic horror of it, to be honest.
It's like the Lovecraft
I
dogs
mean,
that can only come out at 90-degree angles.
There is definitely, like, time-space fuckery going on in Amnesia, so that's definitely a possibility. Although, the way it looked, I think it's supposed to be, like, burrowing through the walls and stuff, so, I don't know.
It's a Tremors. Why did they call them graboids?
I
It's terrible.
just get eaten by a giant worm.
If Burt
Like
Gummer
the whole
did just,
bunker.
like, kick a door down and he has, like, a Vickers machine gun, that would be fucking amazing.
In World War I, we don't even explain it.
Video game developers, you could probably get the actor for Burt Gummer to just come and be in your video game.
Is Michael Gross still alive?
They haven't made any Tremors. Yeah, he is. I was pretty confident he was, but literally the only thing I thought was like, they haven't made a Tremors movie in a few years.
It's been 4 years. Like, it has been a while, but it hasn't been as long as you think. Especially given that... I was going to say, he's 76, which means he made the last Tremors movie at 72.
For those not aware, the Tremors franchise of films there's like one kind of fluke hit, and I don't even think in theaters hit. I think like home video hit that had Kevin Bacon and a couple other people, and also one sort of standout side character, and then that actor just proceeded to be the glue that held together like an 8-film franchise. That one side character is just in all of them.
Well, okay, so for context, Michael Gross is the dad on Family Ties, who plays the hippie dad of Michael J. Fox in Family Ties. But in Tremors, he is Bert,
yeah.
who is basically a crazy right-wing gun nut who wants to go hunting the graboids, which are the monsters. So, like there is a little bit of, like, an irony.
Right wing in a more innocent 90s, like, prepper sense. Like, kind of, like, just... Like, the guy who wants to live off the grid because he fears, like, an apocalypse.
He's a survivalist.
Not
yeah,
so
he's
much,
a survivalist,
like,
survivalist gun guy. Not so much. Again, this was the '90s version of all that stuff, where it was cute and fun and not terrifying.
Yeah, like before, somebody who was part of this kind of community of ideology would be like, people realized how much money there was to be made selling people who have this kind of this understandable fear a lot of other bullshit.
Like if Dale, Dribble, and Bert Gummer like were real and lived up till now, they would be not people you would want to know. But the '90s cartoons version of them, they're cool.
Right. Which, like, that's kind of it creates kind of like
All
the
right,
contrast where
35
people talk
minutes.
about like, oh, all these like '90s
Oh,
like
right.
prepper survivalist characters. They wouldn't be like MAGA right wing types today because they wouldn't trust any of these people. And it's like, yeah, I understand that because you're right. The '90s version wouldn't. But it is a slow and insidious poison, and it really did
Right.
kind of capture that whole market share.
So here we get the first thing that a lot of people don't like about this game, is the fact that you can turn on the lights, but the lights are using fuel, and fuel is a limited resource.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of choose.
I ran out of fuel and the whole thing was dark and I couldn't figure out what to do and I was like, I'm gonna put this aside for a bit.
Like that's sort of
I found a stick.
It's sort of the main, I don't want to say problem with the game, but the game expects you to sort of iterate on your own, and it will not like be like, well, you've soft blocked yourself, start over. It just expects you to start over and know that like, okay, now I know the path is go here, see the guy die, get the gun, shoot the lock, turn on the power, dude. Like, it expects you to just get better at it. It's not like a real roguelike that like lets you die and then start over. It's a limited resource escape room game that expects you to keep replaying it until you figure out how to do it. And like, there's a lot of contention, I think, about whether or not people are comfortable with that. And it doesn't block you, right? Like, at least not that I've seen, right? Like, if you run out of fuel, you can just use your little flashlight to get around, but that means attracting the monster. But that is slow and inefficient versus just turning on the power for the whole system.
Yep.
Anyway, I'll shut up.
Okay, so we need to get dynamite in the arsenal and the detonator, which is down in the Roman tunnels, to blow up the entrance, which has been blown up previously to keep us and the monster in here by the officers who all ran away. This seems like good for us in the short term, but maybe not great in the long term.
Don't give a fuck if it's not your turn to give a fuck. Just get the dynamite.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to the map here real fast. We need to go to the arsenal, which is down the hall. I'm pretty sure there is a... What happens if I do this? Alright, that turns the lights on there. Here, pretty sure there's a locked door here, yeah. What? Meat!
Boy, that's auspicious.
So...
Crew quarters is, I think, where you have to go first, right?
Like, I remember going down there, but I don't remember why I went down there.
There's a way to get into the officers' quarters, if I remember right.
Is this is the layout always the same or is it procedurally generated?
Yes.
Sorry,
No,
It's
always
the same. Like, it's not procedurally generated.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a walk down there.
I do
Presumably there is a
remember-
way to open it.
I do remember one of the few things I found out about the bunker when I was like looking into it at first was so on their Steam page. Some of you may remember I tweeted about this back when I used Twitter much more often. The copy for it like teased that you'd be chased like through a terrifying World War I bunker by, and I quote, an AI-driven monster.
What the hell is that?
It's the monster. It's driven by
it's
AI.
a monster. It's driven by AI.
Well, it seems to be nearby. Don't have any grenades to blow those.
Spin that a bunch,
Emergency
and then it'll fall off.
lockdown. Here we go.
I don't know about that.
Right. We need to get a new...
And the wheel is
that
somewhere. I want to say the
indicating?
wheel is... It's pinned. I don't know why it's pinned. Stay away from that hole.
Yeah. It's very loud.
Again, I do like the sound design in this game. But yeah, I think you need to go to the crew quarters, if I remember right. I could be completely misremembering this, but...
No, I definitely remember having to go down there. I'm just trying to remember what tells us to go there. Is it like Strategic Operations has one?
Well, ultimately you need...
Let's try going to maintenance.
You need to get into the kitchen or whatever.
That's right. We need to go down to maintenance. It's presumably to get a thing, and that involves going down this way.
Yeah, that's where this is. Is this not crew quarters? It says officers' quarters.
This is the officers' quarters. Yes.
This is where everyone lives, and there's like a bunch of key codes in here and a bunch of other fun data.
Well, it's where the officers used to live. Although sergeants aren't officers. Whatever. He will get it and radio it back to us.
Radio.
Get to the communications room in the soldier quarters. Hide there. I'll broadcast the code to you. Okay.
Okay. Sure do love listening to the radio. Other people's radio calls. Kind of a pervert in that way.
Prisoner 73014 of escaping his cell and committing the murder.
Can you hide under the beds? I can't remember. No. Okay. Photos and bottles. And now it's dark. Now there's a monster.
Okay, let me double check the layout here. Let's store some stuff. Okay, communications room is not actually listed. I assume it's strategic operations.
I believe that's right. We should store the meat. Wait, does the meat serve as bait? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's bait. We can use it to... I'm gonna keep the meat with us so that
That
we can...
fucking Dr. Evil coat has scared me more times in this game, turning around quickly from the inventory. I always think that there's like a mad scientist right behind me, and it terrifies me.
I wonder if
Don't step on the mine.
I don't think that's a mine.
I've just
Can
been
we turn
playing
the
along.
generator off and preserve the...
Yes, you can.
I'm gonna turn it off and preserve the fuel. Because the officer quarters are dark anyway. Problem that I'm having is that I've got the...
Monster.
Well,
yeah,
there's
that would be a
but I've got
problem if you think about it.
I've got the sound turned down really low so I can hear you guys, but I've got it like turned down too low, so I can't really hear the monster that well.
Yeah. But the thing I like about that is that it does mean that it is much more likely the monster's going to kill you graphically for
Oh,
all
yeah.
our viewers to watch.
Oh, hey. We can lock. Is that a lock that would have existed in 1914?
Absolutely not, but that's okay. It's fine. Especially not in a bunker.
Is this monster that's going to murder you also period accurate? Like, is this the kind of monster that would kill somebody in a bunker in 1916? Is that like...
It's a
It feels
cyber
a little
demon.
anachronistic, actually. Yeah. I mean, the murdering you part, that's realistic. Murder stays murder. But, like, you know, everything else.
Roman tunnel update. presumably that's
Yep.
going to be how it kind of meshes into the rest of the Amnesia shit, where you can, like,
Tunnels.
you have aliens from extra-dimensional worlds showing up. I mean, that's what the monster is, probably.
You just like find a tablet that says in Latin something like "fuck this goddamn monster." Jesus Christ, I hate this asshole.
How great would it be if it was some like Cowboys versus Aliens 1950s ass monster? Like,
Actually, I wonder if this would be a good place to charge the flashlight.
Yes, before you make the loud noise that will summon the monster, it's good to back yourself into a corner with no egress.
Prisoner in custody. 20 German soldiers.
man, World War I was wild.
So this guy might be an officer or something.
What?
Wouldn't
I don't
officers
get
generally
it.
get treated better?
What's funny?
Just to say, just World War I was wild.
Shotgun shells.
I just have, like, imagine if, like, a private in, like, a trench in France. Be like, man, World War I is wild. Everyone else is like, fuck you, asshole. What are you talking about?
Why are you calling it World War I? Is there gonna be
You
another?
motherfucker. By the way, guys, I've seen that QI episode. Obviously, I've seen every QI episode of David Mitchell. I know that people call it World War I before World War II.
It's also an episode of Doctor.
I thought it was
Who
called the Great War.
It was. I mean, it was, but like individual people refer to World War I as World War I before there was, in fact, a World War II. It was not the customary thing to call it in the media or directly afterwards, but like there was some cognizance, like some pessimistic cognizance.
Oh yeah,
that,
like this
yeah, there's
might
gonna be another
happen,
World
yeah.
War at some point.
In the same way, like we call World War III, even though it hasn't happened yet.
Yep, what hypothetical future conflict is what Wikipedia calls World War III.
We keep
I'm
getting
honestly
shotgun
surprised
shells, which
We have
cannot
not triggered the
fire.
monster more.
Yeah.
It's not. Surprising is not the word I would use. Deeply disappointing is the
You're
word I would use.
standing next to the hole and
We
revving
can
the
fix
battery.
that.
Well, like, one thing we've talked about before is the fact that frictional games is, or at least certainly was in 2010, the undisputed world champions at fucking with players without actually, like, stepping on their own spot in terms of, like, killing the
Yeah.
players too often or making things too hard. Like, kind of ratcheting up the paranoia and the fear of the monster without actually
A hand.
obliging them to kill incompetent players constantly. Because the fact is, like, there's gotta be players who have to rev their flashlight all the time to even see what's going on. Like, it's gonna happen. And they probably acknowledge that they don't, like, that person's not gonna have a good time if they're just dying every 15 seconds. They just don't know what to do. And I think that frictional games doesn't have a design ethos. It's just like, fuck it, let them swing, right?
Is that the locked one?
It would seem to be.
If I remember right, there's
It's
a
like-
way in there from one of the other rooms.
Yeah.
What they
It
kind
might
of
be the
figured
one we
out,
just in.
I think, and what is an entirely valid lesson to take on board is if you introduce all kinds of lessons for, like, that are nebulous about one monster, where, like, you can't just, like, iterate and test over and over again and lab it. Players who are competent, like, who are good at the game, who are, like, hardcore about it, are not going to do the things that piss off the monster. They're going to be careful and step on tiptoes. And players who are kind of heedless are going to do things that piss off the monster. And then basically they're going to end up being equally scared because the latter players are going to be Mr. Magooing their way through unsure what they can do. There's not really a third cohort of players that's like, yeah, I know the monster supposedly comes to noises, and I could not use the flashlight at the time, but fuck it, I'm different. I'm just gonna walk around like a Chaticus, blasting my light in all directions, bells on my toes, spurs on my ankles. Who will then,
That is an
like, grow
amazingly
contemptuous of the
cool
game.
image you just painted.
Just
It's like,
Don't-
the first
don't.
Amnesia episode we ever did. Josh jumped on top of the monster and proved that it was all bullshit.
oh yeah.
It's like if you introduce mechanics which suggest paranoia, it turns out that people tend to not do those things if they have the wherewithal to not do them. And it just kind of works out. So you don't actually need to put in those punishments because it's all so nebulous and so hazy that it's not like people are labbing how much they could use a flashlight and then just like laughing at the game because they realize that it's easy. If they're taking it seriously, they're taking it seriously.
So
what is toggle text?
we still haven't.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they meant the soldiers' quarters is where the. No, here.
I mean, do you want me to go look up how to do it? I feel like that
I'm
robs
trying to
us of the
remember.
fun, but
Let's see.
get to the communications room in the soldiers' quarters. Hide there. I'll broadcast.
Soldiers' quarter. Okay, so we got to go over there. All right. But we can't get there because of the damn. The wheels
circle.
busted. So.
Which is, I
Josh,
believe, which is back in the storage facility.
Maintenance, right?
Yeah, you're
Maybe.
yeah, you're zooming in a little too much here. You need soft eyes if you're gonna try to find stuff in a bunker. You gotta like kind of pull out a little bit, look at the whole picture.
Okay. What are you suggesting, Red Scarn?
I'm suggesting
Yes,
just
this
like
is-
I feel like what I said was
Presumably going to maintenance is where we need to go, so let's see if we can't make it to maintenance. Which would help if I unlocked the door I just locked. Right.
Okay, I know how to do this.
This way.
I looked it up. I cheated, but I know how to do this. Let me know if you need guidance.
Is it in maintenance? Are we doing the right? Are we on the right track here?
First, you need to go to the officers' quarters, which is what I remember. I was right.
Yeah. Emergency lockdown on the maintenance room too. What's this? No. Oh, there's fuel down here. That's good. Wine cellar. Obviously, there will be a wheel in the wine cellar.
obviously. Well, there's one point.
The wine is chained up, you guys.
So, do you want me to tell you where to go?
Where's our wine? We need wine. We are French and we need wine.
Are they French? I thought they're German.
What?
Weren't you taking
Chris,
hostage?
we've been fucking up France. No, there were Germans that were captured.
Okay, I completely misread the plot of this game because I thought you were
we're
a
in
French
our
soldier
bunker.
who got captured, and that's why you woke up in a. Okay,
No, we got
I
put into a
completely
coma.
misread this.